So John Collins' second season was maybe one of the less talked about things last year, some of it because of his teammate Trae Young, of course. But Collins really rounded out his game. I mean, at 6'10", he's really athletic. He's shown some signs from three. I mean, 2.5 attempts a game at 35%. His handle is better than you would expect for a 6'10 dude in his second season. After hearing some interviews with him this offseason, he has the desire to be an all-around player on both sides of the floor where he can shoot from outside, take it off the dribble, finish an alley-oop, but then also defensively defend kind of every position on the floor. It seems he wants to do that. And the crazy thing is, I think a lot of this is attainable for Collins given his size, his frame, his athleticism, and the skill set that he's shown up to this point. So what can we expect for his third season? Well, the first thing that I notice is I do think Atlanta is set on him being a power forward. If you go down his lineup numbers, he played all of last season with another center. Alex Len is still on the roster, and he was actually not bad for Atlanta last year. So I guess Alex Len is going to start. Collins is going to play the 4. And I feel like the spacing with those two actually won't be a disaster because, number one, Collins has shown some signs from 3, and I do think he's determined to be a real three-point shooter. His form looks good. He's really quick to go up with it, and his free throws look pretty good as well. So I think all the signs are there that Collins can make shots from outside. Now, I'm probably expecting maybe 3.5 to 4.5 attempts from 3 a game. A lot of it coming from the corners and stuff like that, but that's still pretty damn good, I would say. So I don't think Collins is going to be like a Derek Favors power forward. Yeah, they're both athletic and they can finish around the rim, but I think Collins is going to be able to space it out with whatever center plays with him. Also, funny story, Alex Len has begun to show off three-pointers as well, so that's an interesting thing. But also with Collins, he can attack a closeout, so even if you leave him wide open, if he chooses to not take the 3 because you're, going to contest it, he'll just go right by you. I mean, Collins has moments when he's driving where you could mistake him for a 2-guard with how fluid he looks and how comfortable he is dribbling. Now, can he beat defenders? Can he show some Siakam shot creation this year? If you dig deep enough and you find some of his highlights, there are times when Collins does beat some dudes off the dribble. If that does happen, I think it'll look kind of clunky, whether it's him busting out spin moves or he'll hit him with 1 or 2 dribbles and then it'll turn into a post-up or whatever, but if the ball goes in, then it goes in, right? So I think that's in the cards for Collins this year. I'm just assuming he's going to improve because based on the jump he made from year 1 to year 2, I think he's earned the belief that he just works really damn hard, right? Now, that doesn't mean that it's automatically going to click for him. There's a chance his threes don't look as good as we'd want them to, whatever. But now if we move on to his relationship with the rest of the team, you got to start with Trae Young, of course. Collins already benefited from Trae's spacing a year ago, and that was with Trae missing a lot of shots to open up the season. So now that it seems like Trae moving forward is going to be the guy that he looked like he was in college, where he's just making crazy threes and pull-up jumpers and being really crafty and pick and rolls and all that. There's a chance that Collins just gets a few more easy baskets every game, alley-oops and rolls, and the thing where it's Trae Young doesn't actually get the assist, but his presence alone just broke the defense enough to get John Collins open. It would also be interesting to see if we get more movement from Herter and Trae off the ball, because Collins can, of course, benefit from that as well. And it's also going to depend on how good DeAndre and Cam are this year, because you go to DeAndre Hunter first, right? If he can't shoot, then of course gonna hurt John Collins' ability to just get buckets. And it is actually kind of interesting. When you go down Atlanta's stats last year, yeah, they were not a good team, but they were 3rd in 3-point attempts, they were 4th in threes made, and it wasn't all from Trae. Taurean Prince, took 6 a game at 39%. Dwayne Dedman made some. Ken Bazemore, yeah, he had a down year percentage-wise, but I feel like teams still kind of respected him. It's one of those things where, yeah, the percentage is low, but the spacing is still kind of a thing. Whereas DeAndre Hunter is walking into the NBA with the reputation of you can dare this guy to shoot, right? So, is there a chance that there's just the paint is a little too clogged up at times for Collins if Hunter's not able to make teams pay for leaving him open, or similar thing with Cam Reddish, even though I think Cam's reputation is going to help with spacing a little. I could definitely see all of that. Now, do I really think we're going to get the Trey, Herter, Cam, DeAndre, and then Collins at center lineup that often? No, not really. I mean, could that be the ideal lineup a few years from now? Certainly, but I think if you put 5 young dudes out there, including 2 rookies, for a lot of minutes, it could get rough pretty quickly, even if I like all of those guys moving forward. Now, I have to ask myself, what's the starting lineup of the Hawks probably going to be? I would guess it'll be Trey, Collins, Len, Allen Crabbe, and I would probably go with Herter, but I could see Evan Turner getting the start as well, veteran thing and all that. And then, of course, Cam and Hunter still getting like high 20s, potentially even low 30s as the season goes along in minutes. So it'll be interesting to see just who Collins is really playing with. It makes a lot of sense to have him with Trey most of the time for obvious reasons. And, you could have Evan Turner as like a backup who can serve as the main ball handler to help out, Collins. Are we going to get some Evan Turner to John Collins alley-oops? I don't know. But I do think at times we will see Collins at center, where I think this team would be at their most athletic. Now, do I think Collins right now can play 5 for super long minutes? No, not really. He's 6'10". His wingspan is really not that long. Now, he makes up for it with skill and athleticism, but even so, at a certain point, it does just become tough to go against those, 7-footers and deal with the physicality, because Collins, not the biggest dude in the world. He's apparently 236 pounds, and you just look at the guy, he's definitely not one of the bigger front court players in the league. So could we still see 5-6 minute stretches with Collins at center though? Yeah, there's definitely matchup problems he can present to a lot of centers in the league, especially the ones who are not very athletic, but I do think he's kind of meant to be a power forward. So anyway, how about a stat line prediction for Collins this year? Again, he did technically average, it was 19 and 9, but just call it 20 and 10 to be nice. That being said, I can't really picture him getting to 25 a game. Yeah, he already made a 9-point jump, but going from 19 to 25, that's pretty massive. That puts you into some of the best scorers in the league, and I think that sort of jump is really going to be meant for Trae Young this year. So, I don't know, can I say that Collins is going to be around the same ballpark, which is maybe low 20s, a little higher? Potentially, he could still get to mid-20s with Trae if the Hawks just play insanely fast. Last year they were 7th in the league in seconds per possession, so perhaps it could go up another thing. I don't really know. Now, I guess maybe there's a chance that his numbers were just inflated from his second season, but I think if I was going to do a player comparison for Collins, I think at his worst, he's probably like Montrezl Harrell. Impactful big who plays hard and can do a lot of things, but you're not comfortable just running the offense through him, basically. Or if he is what I guess I consider his ceiling to be, then something like Amari Stoudemire, where the size, the athleticism, and the skill set just all come together, and he's just this explosive offensive player. So something like that, something in between that is probably fair as well. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on John Collins just yet, but he's certainly interesting, and we'll have to see if the Hawks can either make a push for the postseason, potentially get in it, and we'll see how much of an impact Collins makes and all that. So there's John Collins for you.